Afghanistan population nowadays, to the last census, is approximately 32 million people, which is quite a big number. And if you just pay attention to the map, Afghanistan is a multi-ethnic country. Nowadays, the biggest portion of the ethnic population in Afghanistan would be comprised of so-called Pushtun or Pashtun, as we say in English. You can see them in the kind of dark brown color, covering the central as well as the eastern parts of the country. The central part in yellow would comprise so-called Hazara population. They are like Turkic-speaking people who are this, descendants of the so-called like Mongols of the Middle Ages. Then the green color would be mostly Tajik population. Red would go more to Uzbek, and a little bit in the north we have Turkmen. Nuristanis will be only in the easternmost parts of the country. In the south we have Baluch or Beluch, we can call them. So why I'm talking about ethnic groups a little bit in this country, this is very important to understand the perspective of the current difficult situation and the war in Afghanistan. The statehood of the country started to form only in the mid of the 18th century. And since then, the country started to play kind of a buffer zone between two empires. And what kind of empires? Can you help me? I hope that we can conduct an interactive session. British Empire and Russian Empire, absolutely right. And do you know why Afghanistan was important for two countries, for two empires? Actually, that country is very mountainous, is very difficult, they don't have infrastructure. But what can cause these two empires to strike with each other for that territory? Two, mainly, it's a strategic point, strategic link between Central Asia, Middle East, and India. Yeah. So there is basically no other way. You have to pass through this territory. And knowing that the British Empire was really interested at that time to strengthen itself in India, and Russia was interested to strengthen itself in Central Asia, those empires were fighting with each other. And then that fight continued basically throughout the 20th century and led, of course, to the Soviet invasion of Afghanistan. And we know which years it covered, yeah, from 1979 up to 1989. So the result actually of that invasion are pretty clear. I think those empires tried to play with the national and tribal interests of Afghanistan, and this is the tragedy of that country. The main, I would rather say that stronghold of Afghan statehood has always been comprised in the hands of which ethnic group? Can you help me? Pashtuns, yeah, Pashtuns. And there has always been historical hatred, historical conflicts, as well as slaughters between Pashtuns and the rest of the populations, which mainly Pashtuns look at them from up down. I am going to ask you, have you ever read anything about Afghanistan? Basically, any kind of literature about Afghanistan? I would suggest probably the Kai drama, absolutely. They got Khalid Hosseini, beautiful, beautiful piece. And not only that, but also 1,000 Splendid Suns and other pieces which can reflect basically the difficulty of that strife. And now I'm going to ask each of you, can you tell me like military units, or not only military units, but military personnel, educational personnel, whatever it is, from how many of your countries have ever been deployed in Afghanistan?
Albania was deployed there and was actually one of the best teams with structured forces led 2030 from Barack Obama.
So
With
your
missions in
Albania, yeah. But,
created by the US, RTP, and in cooperation with the Turkish authorities.
absolutely.
Separately,
We had 2 or 3 missions before the mission.
I am sure. Yeah, actually, absolutely right. I'm sure that each of us can say that our troops, our military personnel, were deployed, are deployed, have been deployed in that country. Do you agree with me?
Yeah.
So that shows that basically the importance of that country and also security challenges of that country would not be only important in Afghanistan itself, but definitely it would go beyond the borders of the country, right? And now I would like us to talk about some other issues which can be concerning, first of all, for the neighboring countries, and then to go beyond that scope and to go to the European and American perspective and see if there is any kind of challenges and any kind of possible solutions that we can come up with them. So, if you can help me to name neighboring countries for Afghanistan.
Iran.
Absolutely. And now, I would like to say that Afghanistan, at least before Syria, has produced the highest number of refugees in history. Okay? At least I can say that 2 million of refugees from Afghanistan are in Iran. More than 2 million, 2.0, 2.5, something like that. They are in Pakistan, between 15 and 18,000 in Tajikistan, and etc., etc., etc. Even in Azerbaijan, we have around like 3,000 Afghani refugees, particularly from Hazara community, because they are Turkish-speaking and they thought that they can come to the Turkish-speaking country and can find things in paradise, but we did not find. Now, talking about such a big flow or wave of refugees, definitely it can cause a difficult situation in other countries regarding humanitarian aid. It can cause difficult situation regarding trafficking, first of all, in my opinion, with human rights abuses of that community, and they and in general aggravate this situation in the society. So my next question to all of you: do you think that if we deploy more tanks, more troops, or just if we just pump into that country more weapons, we can solve that situation over there, or we can improve the internal situation in Afghanistan? Absolutely. This is my opinion as well. So my suggestion, my question again to all of you: what would be, in your opinion, the best ways or the more balanced ways to approach to the Afghani situation and think how we can help the Afghan society, or what we can do in order to improve the situation, and definitely also to secure ourselves from future calamities?
Yeah, but is Russia more interested in more secure Afghanistan?
Okay, well, and now again we're talking about Russia, yeah? Do you think that Russia is the only player in the region?
No, it's the most important player for the Europe.
You think so? Okay. I agree that it's one of the most... Sorry? Yes, yes, absolutely, not the only one. What would be the other players as well?
Yeah, China.
Iran, absolutely. Iran, yeah. And I hope that you know how those powers can play with the Afghan situation.
Very bad.
No, I mean, do you have a concrete example? Concrete example. For example, if you talk about Russia, what Russia can do to improve or to deteriorate the situation? Their arms, I think that. First of all, arms.
They are still using the Russian arms.
Absolutely.
The Russian arms are very widely used in Afghanistan. The Russians are very, I don't know how to explain, but I don't think Russia is interested in the improvement of the infrastructure of the Afghanistan and for the further development of the society.
I think Pakistan is more interested in Afghanistan because of the India-Pakistan war, because Afghanistan was always some kind of secure place back on the Pakistani side, because when
They can retreat.
yeah,
To the mountains and the bush.
yeah, but Pakistan always want to have pro-Pakistani government in Afghanistan. So, and that's why we have Taliban in Pakistan, for example, because Pakistan was the secure base for the action of the Taliban.
Can you reiterate the last question?
Sorry, again?
Can you reiterate the last question?
Yeah, basically, I asked that what kind of powers we have in Afghanistan which can play with the local situation. So basically, we talked about Russia, then there was Pakistan.
Yeah, we have NATO.
I forgot talking about that. Western powers of the NATO, US, yeah, and also Iran, for example. Yeah.
China will play an increasing role in Afghanistan because they want to have they want to circumvent the narrow Strait of Malacca with their sea height communication. So they're looking for harbors in other parts of the world. They have one in Iran, and they want the connection to sea from Afghanistan as well.
And also, my question: do you know how Iran can influence the situation? First of all, it can influence through religion, because Hazara population mainly are Shia, yeah, and half of the Tajiks are also Shia. However, Pushtun are mainly Sunni. So we have also another portion over there of the problem, religion as well. Religion, we have arms, we have like troops over there deployed, and another one of the biggest problems which Afghanistan can cause for the international community. Opium? Narcotics and narco trafficking. Narcotics and narco trafficking, which also raises one very important issue. Do you know, like, why drugs are, drugs, not only opium, but heroin as well? I think the best heroin in the world is coming from Afghanistan as well. Why it is so widespread and why people can cultivate it so openly over there? And it happens, believe me, it happens under clear eye of NATO, US, and all the international powers being deployed over there. Income for, yes, income. So basically, for many international players, it is more important, like, to keep them busy, okay, to keep them earn their revenues and still stay whole, so-called. Stay whole. But the question is, how long it can continue, yeah? And how long those narco-trafficking routes can affect not only neighboring countries, but can also affect, for the first of all, European markets. In effect, I don't know if it comes exactly to US or not other sources. But European markets definitely it can affect. So now we are naming lots of problems that not we, but the international community is basically called to tackle or help to fix them. Another issue, as I was talking, is the widespread human rights abuses in Afghanistan. Believe or not, for NATO as well as Western allies, we do have like two main routes to supply troops as well as any other necessary materials to Afghanistan. And these two routes has, if you can help me also geographically, can you name two routes to Afghanistan to bring troops and materials?
Caucasus. Around.
Believe or not, 70% of all supplies they go over Azerbaijan. 30% or around 30% would go to Pakistan. But just because Pakistan is not reliable and it's not stable, so the main focus is based on the Caucasus and basically Azerbaijan as well, because it's a narrow pass. Iran here, Russia is here, and it's the only political pass. And why I'm talking about it, because that also affects the situation in the Southern Caucasus as well, particularly regarding human rights. I would like also to relate it to the difficult situation in my own country with the human rights. The appalling situation over there, when the abuses happen almost every day, even though the country is getting richer and richer. People may claim that they get richer, but however, they get less freedom every day. So basically, see how that Afghan situation may affect that small country in the Caucasus, and it's one only example. So, that suggestion, what would be probably the best ways for the international community to help the Afghan society? Now let's discuss.
We are already doing a great job in the international community because we're focusing more and more on police training, missions, and we are strengthening on the experiences in the things that they can protect their own populations. I think we're doing a good job.
So training military forces, training police, whatever it is. Do you think that we can come up and impose basically that knowledge skills in one day?
No. By putting some 5 atomic bombs and bigger souls.
That is probably one of the very decisive, dramatic solutions. Well, I wouldn't go that way probably, yeah. But I don't remember exactly who said that, but one of the main wise, whatever figures in history said that give me 10 years and I will bring out for you monsters. Yeah. So this means that probably, again, I am as a proponent, strong proponent of education reform.
Actually, it was in the media. There is huge number of people who do not know how to read and write. They didn't have any day of school. When they were voting, they were just
they couldn't vote. They would put an ink
on the face of the candidate. So it is. Sorry, we're trying to get
I want to teach as well.
Huh?
Yeah. Thank you.
The issue is strengthen society subjects or entities, not only institutions, but also people or private organizations that, like not take advantage of the lawlessness, but actually prevent it or impose some sort of legal framework for a future society.
But exactly, this is the question. Do you think that it come up like in the short term or in the long term?
It might actually take a generation.
Absolutely, generation.
Actually, about having a strong state, they have been forced to live in tribes, in big community that have control, specific kind of moral way of living, and this according to the people who have served there. Now, those tribes are fighting with each other for territory, for
And they have
political positions, economic, etc., etc. So it's a big issue how to solve it, because we need to change this kind of mentality of living in big tribes and respect the state and loving the state. Plus, having in mind that let's say differences in a religion, because if they are Sunni, it means that it doesn't mean that they believe all the same. They have plus divisions within the Sunni community, which quite often kills each other in the mosque, going into suicide, and Shia and etc. etc.
So again, we're talking about tribalism, sectarianism in Afghanistan, and again, it is all related to illiteracy. That's basic.
So, Andres,
I wanted to ask you about that. Yes, if you like the Sudan solution, because if you have the map again, it would be like you split up the country maybe into two parts. Just to have more manageable states, because as you said, with the passion of hatred, maybe it can take more than 2 years.
but the balance of parity with the Pakistan, so we have the Pakistan solution. If we try to create some Pashtun land, something like that.
But if you paid attention through the history, despite tribalism and sectarianism in Afghanistan, starting from the 18th century, the separatism in Afghanistan has never been an issue. It has never been an issue for any tribe, for any ethnic minority or ethnic group in Afghanistan to create their own state. So here we're talking about different situations. Here we're talking more about the problem of widespread illiteracy. I think around like 70% of the population over there is illiterate.
The first election in 2001, according to CNN, was about 80. So it was
Even more, yeah.
80% of the population, they don't know how to just pick the candidate that they are going to vote for. And imagine what they're going to read. Imagine what kind of government they have.
But, so in the society of the absolute illiteracy, definitely the role of clergy will be undeniable. Clergy, religious imams or but it will be it will be undeniable. They can lead, crowds, and then they can commit different kind of abnormal, whatever, killings. It can be fighting struggle between groups and etc. Yeah, and we have been talking already for years about the legal situation of women also over there, like early marriages in Afghanistan and things like that. But all these issues would go to lack of quality education, widespread illiteracy, of course, lack of infrastructure facilities to improve the situation. So, as I said again, even though if we just deploy more tanks, more troops over there, or we just drop million bombs, as you can say,
Million bombs can do the issue.
It has been, believe me, it has been happening through the history of that country.
But atomic bombs.
And here we are talking about the peace and negotiations and all these lovely issues. We will send you.
We will succeed to develop the country, but if we consider these issues only from the biggest states' interest, I think we will fail in developing these societies, underdeveloped societies, underdeveloped countries. I think this is the biggest challenge for the international community and for the international law as well. Maybe I'm wrong, but this is my opinion. No, you're not.
It's the thing is, if you remove all military influence from Afghanistan, you'll never rise a warlords. And if you put more, it's just you, so they're just going to sit there and use it.
you know, but for me it's very complicated situation in Afghanistan because without
Just one by one.
without that, without troops, we can't provide stability to this country. And without stability, we can provide any education, any build some infrastructure like that. But like we said on the beginning, Afghanistan is a very, very important point in this region. So every power, like China, Iran, States, Russia, whatever, will fight to influence all the influence on this region. So
you're saying that it's kind of well, that the party has its hands, and it will try like to play like it wants.
yeah, I think so. So.
But let's deploy them if not bomb teachers.
Alongside the balance deployment problem. You know what I would like to say? Just a second. What you touched a very important issue. Soviet invasion can be whatever ridiculed, can be criticized in Afghanistan. Definitely, it was wrong from the military point of view. Definitely. But alongside with the invasion, Soviet USSR basically brought to Afghanistan lots of opportunities in the medical field, in educational field, infrastructure-wise. They did quite a good job over there. But when it was 1992 when Najibullah's basically government fell, and then Mujahid, as they said, that they started to rise into power, and the civil war started. Unfortunately, lots of all these infrastructure facilities in Afghanistan were destroyed again. Villages. So from some point, the international community had to think about
Thank you. This is fun.